And so, Ben, you guys have built like a nice little rental portfolio. And I think that there's a lot of misconceptions and the pros and cons of being a landlord. I've been there. I've owned a lot of rentals before. I don't own many now, but I've done it. It can be very financially advantageous. There's a lot of financial benefits, but there's also some obstacles with it too. And, I think one of the ways that people in the real estate business and then, people in general can build wealth that is, pretty safe is through the rental property acquisition phase. They buy through markets, they rent them, they grow them, they depreciate them, they get a lot of write-offs. And then of course, someone else paying off your debt. Anyone out there that's listening, maybe what are some pros and cons of being a landlord, or what advice would you give people? Maybe someone that's not been a landlord yet and is thinking about being.
There's no secret that I'm definitely, I have a lot of rentals. My wife and I have bought them well over a decade now. And I love it. I'm a firm believer that I think this is a great way for the average person to create wealth. But the biggest misconception is this is a get-rich-slow scheme.
It is get-rich. Yeah.
It is not something that you're going to buy a rental and start making,
quit your day
job. Correct.
It is get-rich-slow.
So it does take time. A lot of times people don't understand the math behind it. So I would say really just understanding the math, the tax benefits for your situation. There's a lot of things that you can't really talk about that you're not thinking about. We just think it costs me this, I make this much every month. It's the intangibles, the appreciation, the depreciation, for your taxes, writing off if you have an interest expense for your loan. Yep. There's a lot of great things. But one of the biggest cons that I tell people all the time that think it's just mailbox money and I won't have to do anything.
It is not.
No, that AC,
it is
that AC never breaks at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. It breaks Friday night right before you're about to go on vacation. Right?
So
the plumbing the toilet backs up on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
Those are the calls that you're going to.
They have their whole family in town. They have a family reunion and the stuff stops working.
The AC breaks, the roof starts leaking. That's always when it's going to happen. So you've just got to understand. And a lot of times people say, oh, well, I'll just hire a management company. Well,
that's going to eat your profits.
It does eat your profits. And that management company's still going to want to know before they send someone out, on Super Bowl Sunday to unclog a toilet or, fix that AC. So you're still there. You're not giving away all that responsibility. If you've got, if you really want to build wealth over a long time, I think it's great. But not every property is a great rental.
No, and that's the point I want to make. I think there's a lot of customers out there that have their primary homes that they maybe can't get the number that they want, and they're going to turn them into rentals. And they're going to lose money every month because their mortgage maybe is too high. Now, look, if you bought a house and the mortgage rate is in the 3s and 4s from back a few years ago, that's probably a house you can make some money on, right? But a lot of people will say things like, well, I'm just going to turn it into a rental and lose money on it, smaller amounts of money until the price goes up. The problem with that is, one, if you really want a good rental property, buy another property, right? It's a bad rental property. It doesn't make money. You can sell that, take your loss, and then go in debt yourself on something, again, assuming you've got a mortgage rate above 6, those are things right now. It's hard to turn those into rentals and cover the costs. So I think it's a mistake for a lot of people right now that are saying, oh, I can't sell my house, I'm just going to rent it out, versus just selling it and taking the hit. Because you're just going to keep bleeding money and you're not factoring in all the risks. The roof goes bad, the plumbing leaks, a storm hits. Now you forgot to update your insurance to a rental policy instead of a homeowner policy. I'm not a big proponent of renting out, moving out of your primary residence and renting it because you've got an emotional attachment. I'm a proponent of sell that and then go buy better rental property.
Yeah, and that's the other thing to remember. A lot of times, when we live in that home, we're just connected to it, right? We are emotionally invested. I've never met a tenant who treats it the same way as you do.
It's going to be discouraging.
And in your example, let's say you're looking, I'll only lose $200-300 a month. I'll wait for a year or two and ride out.
Price is going to go down more.
Not only that, but the problem is that once they move out, now you've got to repaint the house. You got to change the carpet.
10 grand easy. Everything's 10 grand today.
At least 10
like literally
grand.
Everything's 10 grand.
So now you've lost money for the last year or two every month on your mortgage because you're trying to hold on to it. Now they move out and you want to sell it. The price is probably lower, and now you've got to go back, put at least 10 grand to get it cleaned up, ready to go.
If you can sell it and get out and pay your loss, get out, because rental properties only make sense if they're positive cash flow. Period, in my opinion. If you're negative cash flow because you want to get the number up to a certain number so you can net out or whatever, it's a gamble because you're assuming the prices are going to go up. And look, they have for a really long time, but for the last few years, they haven't, right? Insurance, we had multiple people call us last year during the storms and their insurance declined them because they'd moved out, turned their properties into rentals. and then didn't update their policy. They didn't have a rental policy anymore. They didn't have coverage for that stuff, and they ate money. They just don't know the difference. So I think most people if their home isn't going to be positive cash flow, and they can write a check to get out of it if they're negative, or maybe they don't make as much as they want, so go buy better rental property. Get rid of that one. It's not a good property. Like you buy rental property to make positive cash flow.
Right.
Like the appreciation and all those things are bonuses. Those are gravy. But if you can't make positive cash flow, get out.
Correct.
Don't turn your primary into a rental. You're making a big mistake. There are so much risk that you're taking on. There's going to be repairs and maintenance and all these things. You're going to lose money every month. Like, I really don't understand it, especially when the math doesn't show you that there's a path to appreciation. Now, look, if you're negative cash flow and the market's appreciating 27% a year like it was in 20 and 21, okay, maybe then it can. But right now, that's not the case. That's not going to be the case for a long time. So